Did I ever say that this video is for only black people? No. This month is going to be a special month. It is April, it is spring, and it's also what I have named African Mythology April. This basically means that the whole month of April I will be focusing on African mythology. And with this first video, I really want to talk about what African mythology isn't. I'm not gonna dive into the spirituality and the religious aspect. I'm gonna dive into like the fantastical, the fantasy aspect of African mythology. My big three, whenever like those are the books that I've recommended like 1,000 times. My big three are Children of Blood and Bone, Nigerian Yoruba fantasy, is going to be adapted into a movie they're currently filming right now, or maybe they've even already wrapped. Love that for them. Gilded Ones, absolute girl power, very much West African inspired fantasy as well. And also, I think that it's inspired by like Sierra Leone and stuff like that because the author is from Sierra Leone. Ray Bearer, which I have right here, and I think I'm gonna cheat a little bit because I love Ray Barra so much because of the world building. Like the world building is so exquisite, it's so magnificent, it's so amazing. I feel like it's a book that you can really feel incredibly like infused, immersed into it. And so like I just have to put it in there. But also the other book that I want to talk about is Skin of the Sea by Natasha Bowen. Also have here, and I just had to put this into the full books that you always have to read when you get into African mythology inspired fantasy. They're all YA. But in terms of like adult African inspired fantasy, I feel like we don't have a lot of that yet. The book recommendations that I would definitely tell you to start with, that is your homework. Look at that. I'm giving you reading as a homework. Isn't that cool? I'm a cool teacher, am I not? Those are the books that you would have to read if you haven't already. Another thing that African mythology isn't, please, please, for the love of everything that is good in this world, do not say black mythology. So it happened twice. People came to me at events and said, "Oh my God, I love your black mythology videos." And I look at them and I'm like, hold on. When did I describe it as black mythology? I've always said African mythology because I know that I'm talking about a fantasy that is inspired by the myths and legends from the continent of Africa. So let's get one thing clear. I am not talking about black mythology. I'm talking about African mythology. And even, I don't even think that we should have a term like black mythology because it's so like general. It's so, even mythology, myths and legends that are like coming from the United States, from the like, or like the African diaspora or whatever, I still think that they should have a specific wording that tells you where they're from. Because black is a skin color that a lot of people share, that I share with a lot of people and stuff like that. And in that way, it's not limiting. But when it comes to like addressing myths and legends and everything from mythology, mm-mm. Another thing that I'm not going to tolerate in this whole month of African mythology and even beyond, and even in my community, like you are watching now this, and I might be squinting my videos quite a lot because the sun is on my face, but it's fine. One thing that I'm not going to tolerate is I'm not black, but did I ever say that this video was for one specific type of people? Did I ever say that this video is for only black people? No. Because culture, African mythology, inspired fantasy, all of these books can be enjoyed by so many different types of people. They can be enjoyed by you, they can be enjoyed by a sister, by your friend, by your neighbor, they can be enjoyed by everyone. And the way that it makes me feel and the way that I perceive it when someone comes to me and is like, I'm not black, but it's like you're trying to distance yourself and alienate yourself, with like African mythology and stuff like that. Almost like you're like, I know I don't have a right to speak about this, or I'm really scared to get it wrong, or I'm really scared to say the wrong thing, or that you might be offended. There's none of that. There's none of that here. I don't want you to approach my videos. I don't want you to approach any of those books. I don't want you to approach any of my recommendations thinking, I'm so scared of getting it wrong. You're already here. You're listening to me, actively listening to me. So you're not going to get it wrong. Okay? You're not going to offend anyone. Okay? As long as you come from a place of love and respect without diminishing yourself, because that's the thing about the I'm not black but sentence. It's like you're conveying to me, I'm so scared of getting it wrong, but also I I'm not confident in being able to say the right thing. And I'm not confident in being able to be loving in that subject, in that topic. And we're not having that because you can be loving. If you're here and everything, you can be loving, you can be respectful, and it can be easy to do so. And I'm even if you say the wrong thing, like nothing bad is gonna happen to you. You learn and then you do better. And that's it. You know? So I really wanted to say this that, you know, no one is gonna do anything to you. Like you're here to learn, you're here to enjoy yourself, most importantly. You're here to enjoy yourself. And yeah, if there are any specific type of topics, always within the realm of fantasy, within the realm of books, within the realm of recommendations and African mythology that you would like me to cover, please comment down below, send me a message, whatever. Why African mythology is so underrated? Because we have heard about Greek mythology, we've heard about Roman mythology, we've heard about all of these other different types of mythology, but we've never heard about African mythology. And I find it incredibly sad how underrated this book genre is. Um, and you just being here is already changing that. But I think it's hugely underrated, obviously, because of like racial constructs, racism, all of that, and people also thinking, I'm scared to get it wrong. What if this is not for me? But it is. It's kind of like look at it from the lens of like anime and manga and K drama. I absolutely love them. I eat those up. I never think they're not for me. When you see, because like for me, like when I saw other people, that looked like me or friends of mine or family of mine kind of like consuming them, I was like, oh, it's okay for me to consume them too. Like it's just like an automatic switch. So perhaps, if you've never seen anyone, read like a book about Mami Waters, that are like the myths from the skin of the sea, and they're like, depicted as like, obviously dark skinned black mermaids, and if you've never seen someone read that type of book, then read it with a friend or join the 75 Hard Black Book Challenge, which is like a challenge that I have to help you read more Black authors in a way that's intentional, in a way that is joyful, and not with a way that's like, oh, I'm scared of getting it wrong. Oh, what if it's not for me? Oh, like I see always like too much Black trauma, all of that, all of that. And this is something as well that I do have to say that the African mythology inspired fantasy that I've read so far are always very well, apart from Skin of the Sea. Skin of the Sea and Ray Bear were actually really nice to read, and they weren't like heavy and trauma or anything like that. But the Gilded Ones and Children of Blood and Bone and so many other books that I'm gonna talk about during this African mythology April are like, man, they're not for the tough hearted. But that's what also makes the story so enjoyable. Does that make sense? But I think I am going to do my best to have, I'm not here to condone, to promoting or like to condone black trauma, or to be like, oh, when it comes to black representation, when it comes to black characters and stuff like that, you're only going to find black trauma, you're only going to find pain. Like that's not what I'm about. So I will have a balance of stories that have huge challenges, but they make sense, and they're not done to like, use black pain, use black trauma and stuff like that in a way that is toxic. um and there will be balance as well of stories that are light or lighter. I pride myself in that. I think it's very important. But we're reaching the end of this video because this was very much an introduction to tell you what African mythology isn't and the type of mindset that we're going into for this African mythology April. So I told you all of the books that are like your little homework, and at least commit to reading one book from this list. Because something that we like to do as readers is, oh, I added to my TBR, oh, I added to my list, I added to my list, but then you never read it. You never read it. And I'm sure you've had this feeling before when you read a book and you're like, oh my God, I wish I could have read this book much sooner and stuff like that. Not on my watch. This is not going to happen. Like, you're part of this community now. You're my people now. If there's a book that really catches your attention, you make sure to read it within the next 48 hours. Yes? Okay, good. Thank you. The four books that I really recommend for you to read are Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi, Skin of the Sea, The Gilded Ones, Ray Bearer. All right? So pick one to read as soon as you can. And please, if you're creating any excuses for yourself, be accountable. And again, I honestly think if you want to challenge yourself a lot more, go deeper, read more Black authors, and read in a way that feels joyful. Because I know so many of us like to create excuses. I don't have the time. I have to take care of this. Like, how am I going to do this? Time is not a luxury for me. Things are not guaranteed. All of this type of things, all of this type of excuses that we have just to be just to prevent ourselves from just having some time reading under the sun right now in this beautiful scenery. Like, you could have that, but you keep on creating excuses for yourself. If that's you, join the 75 Black Book Challenge, because we hold each other accountable within that community. And we also have like author Q&As and stuff like that. And like, you have like, for example, about African mythology, I have a full 90-minute workshop that I drop into the 75 Hard Black Book Challenge. So you can also consume that. I have curated TBRs as well for African mythology specifically, workbooks, and all different types of resources. So that whilst you're also challenging yourself to read more Black authors, you are also actively learning about this unique Black storytelling, cultural storytelling that wasn't taught to you at school. I wear the hat of reader. I wear the hat of teacher. I love it. I honestly love it. So if you want to join, all of the links and everything will be down there. And there will also be links as well for you to get the books as well. And I may or may not get a commission when you buy books from these links. So, yes, I will see you in the next one. And please remember to comment what topics, what subjects you would like me to focus on. All right. It is African Mythology April, y'all.